Hello everyone, it's been a while. I've been lost at sea on a swan-shaped pedalo for the last 60 or so days. I can only apologise, but I've got a video for you now. Here you go. Apparently I've been told or asked to show my face a little more in videos, so here I am. I wear hats now because I'm middle-aged. Look at this. This is Es siete tormente. I don't know. It's the line from the Anecdote. I've been away for a while, but I'm back now. I've been working on a massive project. Stick around to the end to find out what that is. Let's probably get in. See you upstairs. It's been so long since I did a voiceover that was the first noise of what I imagine to be many noises to come. This is the Corrugated Falcon A1 laser cutter / engraver that was sent to me. This is not a sponsored video. This isn't a video about laser cutters. I just want to show you this wonderful piece of kit that was sent to me and that I have used in the production of today's thing. I am harnessing technology here to make the walls of a building. This building is going to be part of a much larger thing. This episode, in effect, is kind of a test episode. I'll explain all this later on. But this laser cutter is blooming great. I tell you, it's very good. Look at this. Look how neat these things are. Oh yeah. Now, obviously, you can do this by hand. I did this by hand forever. I just thought I'd give this a go and see how good it was with thick cardboard. And apparently, very good are the words. All of the little squares that are made by the windows and doors and are kept in my box because I'm a massive hoarder. And because they might come in handy one day because they're very, very neat. I can hear you all at home. What's on today, teach? What are we learning today? Well, you're going to probably learn nothing. But I'm going to make a building. And this building is going to be two-tiered, like a wedding cake. Not a high-end wedding cake, just the two tiers. And that's just the kind of channel we are. Also, I say we, you've done absolutely nothing. That's not fair. Obviously, you're all going to like, comment and subscribe, otherwise known as like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell. I never like and subscribe bell. It just doesn't have the same ring to it. I'm going to use hot glue, gluing all these pieces together. And they should be, because it's been laser cut, incredibly accurate. Now you can do this by hand, obviously. In fact, I've done an entire project by hand, which you will find out about at the end of the video. It was just at the very end that this laser cutter arrived and made this thing easier. Now, if you ask anyone about me, they will tell you that I love wood. I will have this engraved on my headstone. Dan loved wood. And today, I'm going to be using 1,000 coffee stirrers. I won't be using 1,000. I'm going to approximate a guess at about 437 coffee stirrers. Now, this tool I'm using here is called, let me just get it up, a mitre shear cutter, or a multi-angle gasket shears. And it is just superb at cutting coffee stirrers in a bundle like this. I mean, you need to be incredibly strong, but just take a few coffee stirrers out if you're a slightly weaker human being, as I imagine many of you are. But I'm sure you have other talents to make up for your puny muscles. It's also great for cutting angles. That's what the little metal thing at the front there was for, which comes into play later on in the episode. This stage here is what I would consider crafters therapy, gluing coffee stirrers to these pieces of cardboard. And I have my own technique for it, which is a time saver. It's kind of a time saver. I mean, you need to wait for the wood glue to dry, which could take a bloody eternity. Now, before I show you the satisfying technique, I like to play a little game on this channel. I often watch a lot of VHS tapes while crafting, and this is a little segment I like to call Guess the Movie. What a creative name. but if you can guess what film it is, leave a comment below. There's going to be a couple of them sprinkled throughout. Now here's the satisfying bit. They're glued, they're dried. Now get a pair of scissors and just cut along the edge there. These coffee stirrers are weak ass, yo. Easy to cut with scissors. And it is mightily satisfying. Now I'm going to repeat that process another 7 times. You don't need to watch this. It's none of your business. But here is the finished thing. Well, this stage of the thing. Look at it, it's all covered in wood. A minute ago it was just cardboard. Now it's wood. Amazing. This is the plastic lid to a tub of sweets that I would have sold in the sweet shop that I work at. But you can get a plastic lid from anything. I'm going to use this to make windows. I want some window panes in there. So I'm going to start by sanding this mofo. Then I'm going to cut it out and then just glue them to the inside. Windows are often a bit of a pain in the bum, but I think this technique is quite easy. I mean, it doesn't look too effective now, but give it time. Also, the panes need to be sanded to obscure what's inside. You just want it to be like a murky sort of frosted glass. It's time to tart this thing up. I don't think that's a phrase that's used anywhere outside of London and in the 1960s. I'm going to use some more coffee stirrers just to add some rims, frames. Frames are wooden. No, they don't have to be wooden. Forget me. I'm going to use these coffee stirrers to add some sort of decoration to these walls. These walls are far too plain. And to be honest, this is the fun part. This is the most fun for me, is adorning. A lot of the time I would weigh the wood bits down while they dried because the wood was a bit warped. But what do you expect? 1,000 coffee stirrers for a few pounds. I should have just stolen them from Starbucks. In fact, this entire build could be made from things stolen from Starbucks. We'll get into that in a moment. First, I have another film for you to guess, and I'm pretty 100% sure that nobody is going to guess this film. Good luck. Now, as I was saying, this entire project could have been stolen from Starbucks, starting with the coffee stirrers, cardboard, all over the place. You could get plastic. There must be some kind of clear plastic there. Later on, I used corrugated card. You can get the corrugated card that wrap around the cups, you know, the insulated bits. Also, you need glue. Plenty of people in a Starbucks. We're going to take the marrow from their bones, make our own glue. I'll do a video on that if there's enough comments below. Look at me rambling. We're on to tier 2 of our 2-tiered cake. I've attached this bit with hot glue and now I'm going to attach the roof that I cut out earlier on with the laser cutter. And to represent this, I have this lovely 4-way split camera thing going on. Rather proud of that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Comments are always welcome, be them good or bad. Just let that play out. Right, that is the bulk of the build done. Got the roof on there, got the 2 tiers of our 2-tier cheapo wedding cake. Now I want to get some wood. I love wood. Get some wood from my wood box, matchsticks. And I thought I'd never run out of matchsticks, and I did run out of matchsticks and I had to buy more matchsticks. What a world. I'm using these matchsticks to do the window frames. So like a beam down the middle there just to separate the panes and then around the edge. This is the slightly harder part. It's not hard, just I suppose it's a little bit tedious because matchsticks aren't the easiest things to cut without them splintering all over the place. But I found using snips that you would use for the Games Workshop shite, you know, they help. Because this is probably the most meticulous stage of the build, I'm using tweezers and I'm lightly dabbing the matchsticks in the glue, dabbing the excess glue off and then attempting to place them onto the windows as window frames with my big fat fingers. Oh, it's just started raining outside. How nice. Do like a bit of rain. Will make recording voiceover a little difficult though. Right, the rain has stopped. It did make voiceover a little difficult. I was right. Now I'm going to make this door. I've got a couple of planks going across just so I can lay some longer planks across the top of those. I like to have some cracks in the door, like an old cabin type door, like the kind of thing you get on the Evil Dead shack. I don't know why that popped into my head. And then I decided to do this fancy pattern on the roof, which ended up taking forever. But it looks nice. See, although I toiled over this, cutting the right angles and things, it looks nice. And you'll be happy to know that when the entire building is done, you can hardly see this part of it. But we know it's there, for whatever constellation that is. I think this here is a 2-waiter, just to be safe. Now the next piece is where symmetry goes out the window. Well, it's kind of symmetrical if you look at the thing as a whole, but I'm cutting these angled planks to place inside the space there. You can see it with your eyes if you look up from your phone for a moment. So I'm a bit snappy today. I think I'm a bit out of practice. I'm not really a people person. I need to learn the skills again. These are candy floss sticks. I got tons of these for maybe like £10 or something. By the way, everything I mention in this video will be in the Amazon affiliate links thing in the info. So if you want to buy them yourselves, you can go through those links. And if you make a purchase, it chucks a little bit my way. A little quid pro quo. One hand washes the other. I've made a little wooden frame. A simple square. Probably not a square, it's probably just off. And I'm using this to place on top of the building. I'm going to make a bell tower. Now I need to reinforce this frame, so I'm going to need some angled candy floss sticks. Cut at angles. I don't think it makes any sense. Anyway, I'm using this thing again, this shears thing, turning it to 45 degrees, using this to cut the perfect angles. This thing's also on the affiliate link down below. Assuming I remember to put it there, I'll try and remember to put it there down. Also, I've made a rather charming fence around the bell tower bit there, with just some coffee stirrers and some little bits of candy floss stick. I love wood. Well, how do you do, sir? I've given this building a rather charming hat made of cardboard. This is the last bit of roof. But forget about that right now. First, I'm going to attach a bell. And the bell I'm going to use is a Christmas decoration, which happens to be the perfect scale for this. This is 28mm, this building. This is, for all you wargaming enthusiasts out there, this is the right scale. And this bell looks just right. Moving our attention to my wall of bits, I'm going to use a small pin and bend the end. It's a little pin with a ball on the end of it. Bend the end of it, hook it into the bell, have that stuck in place. It doesn't need to make the dinging sound anymore, but it needs to look more like a bell, because we're going to see this thing mainly from underneath, and you'll understand why. Once that's all glued in, then I'm going to use some brush on primer. I didn't even know that brush on primer existed. Where have I been? I've always assumed it was in spray can form. Now before I get on with the video, I just want to show you something. I've been rather busy lately, and this is why. I was invited to go on an overnight ghost hunt with my friends Paul and Sanya at the British Schools Museum in Hitchin.
Dan does. YouTuber, you are surrounded by horrors in your studio. What is the secret of scaring people?
Take their loved ones.
Do you think there's any chance whatsoever that you will be scared at any point this evening?
I'm not going to say no, like I'm a big tough guy, because I could be scared of natural things.
I'm confident that by the end of tonight we will have changed your...
I'm confident you won't.
I'm confident we will.
Touché.
No, we'll. I think we've done this before. We know
What, to
how
other
intense
people? You've changed them.
Well, no, we've done ghost hunts before. We know how intense they can get, and I think even a dyed-in-the-wolf skeptic like yourself might end up quivering.
I don't like to think of myself as a skeptic. I like to think of myself as a realist.
What if I bet you that by the end of tonight we'd have changed that opinion, and that you'll be an unrealist?
I am up for that. I'm absolutely up for that.
All right.
You know what? Because I won't change just to spite you.
No,
If a ghost comes and punches me in the face, I'm going to say it was fake.
I want this to be witnessed. We're taking the bet. Shaking hands. We will have terrified Dan by the end of tonight.
This sounds like a fix. A ghost needs to scare me, not some jump scare shit.
No, hang on.
This ain't Bloomhouse.
We shook. You can't start changing the rules.
This ain't
now.
Bloomhouse. No, I know exactly what you got planned.
What?
You're going to make me jump or something.
No.
I want an actual
I've got
entity.
a box with an entity in it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I have a box with an entity in it, and that might scare you as well.
Jump scares don't count.
They do count. We didn't shake hands. We shook hands before we agreed. I just said I was going to scare you by the end of the night, and you were happy with that.
I thought you were going to ask me what do you think ghosts are made of?
What do you think ghosts are made of?
Foam.
Good.
Will he change me? There's only one way to find out, and that's to watch the video. The link to the video is in the description. The Paul and Sanya channel. Thank you very much, Paul and Sanya. Back to my video now. This be corrugated coloured card. I'm running very low on this stuff, and I can't seem to find any. You can get it on Amazon, of course, but I like to get it for £2 from the works. I'm using this to make corrugated iron roofs on all the roof. It's a theme, so I'm sticking this down. I'm not going to be too neat with this either. I want it to look a bit ramshackle, or at least on the roof. The wood's nice, the roof not so much. Look at that, out of the nice white stuff onto the horrible gaudy yellow stuff. But in the end, it'll all look fine. Believe. There it is, rotating in all of its glory. It's a relatively simple build. There's a reason for that, and I'll tell you all why later on. But that corrugated card is not particularly strong, so what we need to do is break out the old Mod Podge and go through the tedious task of covering the thing in the Mod Podge. I hate painting with Mod Podge. I really don't like it. But it's got to be done, like me old nan used to say. It's got to be done. When Grandad was on his way out and didn't want the pain to last, she passed me the pillow, said it's got to be done. If you could take anything away from this, it's to make memories. This cowboy's spur-looking thing's a hole punch. I don't know what that noise was. Now, I didn't think that the corrugated iron looked realistic enough on its own. It needs a few bolts, and to do the bolts I'm going to use that same plastic I used for the windows, but I'm going to punch holes out of it. And I'll tell you what, this thing is hard to use. It really hurts the hands. If anybody's got any better suggestions for hole punches out there, I need tiny, tiny hole punches. But we make do. This is a brand new art shiv. Unfortunately, the art shiv that you all know and love is beaten to buggery, so I've got a new one. Let's give this a shing for old time's sake. Art shiv! Yeah. I won't be making a habit of this. This channel's slightly classier these days, or at least I like to think it is. I like to. The theme of the channel is rich mahogany. I do hope that comes across. Anyway, thanks to that lovely laser cutter, I've made this wonderful plaque, and the old art shiv has been mounted, ready to be given away to a patron. If you'd like a chance to win it, then do join the patron. If you don't care, I fully understand. I'm really bloody hungover today, I don't mind telling you. Too old for this shit. You know, I'm actually older than Danny Glover was in that film when he said he's too old for this shit. That's depressing. Oh, look, rain. Oh, that's lovely, that is. Painting. I don't know why I've got a shot of the primer. What I need is to make a wash for this wood. There you go, there's a nice brown wood colour. Wood's a tricky one because there's lots of different colours. Wood tends to be more grey than brown most times. But as far as this building goes, I cover it in the wash, which is a nice, quick, easy colour to add to the thing, and then just do a nice dry brush lightly with this beige colour. I say beige, it's called Vampire Fang, but it's like a cream. And using my very favourite makeup brush to apply it. I was outside the other day and I noticed a barn that was made of corrugated iron, and it was lovely. I love corrugated iron. Now for this corrugated roof I want to make it look real. I want it to look like real corrugated iron. Not as nice and clean as the corrugated iron I saw. I want it to look downright dirty. And I actually used some reference pictures for this, which is quite unusual for my stubborn self. To start, I would base all of the corrugated iron with a cheap burnt sienna to get that kind of orangey brown look. And I would do one coat of this. It doesn't need to be that solid. Sometimes a bit of the black showing through is good. Next, I have these two grey colours, and they're not quite in focus, so I'm not really sure what they're called. What I discovered with this is that I used to paint corrugated iron roofs and metallic things with a metallic paint, but I think that's wrong. On this kind of scale, metallic paints are too shiny, so I'm using matte grey paints, because when these paints dry they're shiny just enough to still look metallic, but it just looks more muted and more natural. That's what I think anyway. Now I filled in a big chunk of this with a darker grey, and now I'm going to lightly dab some lighter grey on the top of it, speckle it a bit, because the slight variations are what make this thing look real. Also in this project I've treated each sheet of corrugated iron as its own thing. If you look at old buildings you'll notice that some of the sheets are fully rusted while others haven't got a touch of rust on them, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve with this. So while one sheet is bright orange with rust, the sheet next to it could be just like new. I went and popped into that there Games Workshop the other day. It's called Warhammer. And I bought some Agrax Earthshade because people go on about it. And I'm going to use this to add some dirty patches, make all the iron look a bit more natural. I've also got this rust texture that I'm going to have dripping from the bolts and things. The thing I don't like about Games Workshop paints and pots is they used to fall over all the time, but I think this new design apparently is a lot better. With that Vallejo rust texture, I'm going to have it dripping in straight lines down from the bolts, or try to do that at least. It always looks darker than it is when it's dry. You won't notice it so much, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. How would you look at that? Great new pot design, my buttocks. Now that's about £5 worth of Agrax Earthshade wasted on the table there. Now I've got a few small steps left to do. I'm going to paint this bell a nice bronze colour and add a couple of door handles to the doors that are made from bent paper clips and bits of card. I just want to quickly thank the brand new patrons while we show this. Daniel Kibble White Pounds, Killer Rat, Kev Maid, Soapy, Amir Edwards, Alison, Adam Kissinger, Pushing Up Roses, and Johnny Fairweather. A big thank you to all of you for potting food in my big fat belly. Thank you so much. I couldn't do this without you. That's the God's honest truth. And if you'd like to help support this channel, there's a link below, and there's a link here. Also for the chance to win the old archive on a lovely plaque. And the winner of such thing will be announced in the next video. So, what was the point of this video? Well, this house thing I made, relatively simple as it is, was a test piece. I needed to figure out a method, a quick way of painting, or an easy way of painting and theming a village I've been working on called Stackton. It's a village that is in my world that I'm very slowly creating. It's called Stackton because it is a village built on a smokestack. Verticality, see. This is not finished. This isn't the finished thing. Lots more needs to be done. But this is why I've been busy. This is why I've been away. This thing has taken ages. but I like it. I think you will too. And when this video comes out, which will be the next video, that'll be my 50th video. So that's kind of like a milestone or landmark video thing. It's probably like an important thing, isn't it? So that's what I've been doing. I've been working. I haven't been lazy. I've not been skiving. I've been working on this thing. It's just it takes a hell of a long time. This house that I've made will be going on top of Stackton, along with some other things. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing and all that. Thank you to my patrons. Really, you have been very, very supportive over the last 70 days. Now, here's the showcase with the house thing. And hopefully I'll see all of you in episode 50. That big fuck off tower.